I recently purchased a house and a hangar in a fly-in community, and this is my hangar door, and it's just terrible. I wanted to show you how I revamped it and insulated it and made it look a little better. So I'm a pilot, and I recently bought a house and a hangar in a fly-in community that was built in the 80s. The hangar is a 40 by 40 by 12-foot tall ceilings. It has a little tool room in the back corner. It's not in great condition. It needed to be insulated. It's got kind of a wonky air conditioner, as you can see. But the hangar door just looked terrible. It had some insulation on it that was probably installed when it was originally installed in the 80s, but it was all peeling off. It was fiberglass covered in some vinyl, and I wasn't going to be able to replace it because it was built in as the hangar was built. So my last house, I had a garage door that I insulated with this rolls of foam that I got off Amazon for pretty inexpensive. And I thought, as you can see here, it turned out pretty good. This is some of my plane parts in the foreground. But anyway, I thought the panels, they attached really well. They held up really good. So I decided to use the same product again, except a little bigger roll. So here you can see the product. It's white on one side. It's silver on the other. It's a radiant barrier. It's got a little bit of insulative value because it's about 5 millimeters thick. I think, yeah, I've got a picture here. It's about 5 millimeters thick is what the ad says. So it's most of the R value comes from trapping air between this product and your door. I bought the roll for $219. It's 72 inches by 50 feet, and I got 2 of them. So because I didn't have a way to attach these rolls mechanically, I'm just using double-sided tape. I'm using a lot of it. So what you see me here doing, I'm cleaning everywhere I'm going to put the double-sided tape. On the bottom, up and down on the verticals, and then up across the top. I'm using simple green and water, and then I dried that off, and then I'm using denatured alcohol to scrub down the surfaces, which I read for that double-sided tape is the preferred method. The double-sided tape holds really well, but we'll see over time with moisture and everything if it can hold up, because I don't have any mechanical fasteners, which I could go back and add later if need be. But as you can see here, there's a lot of control wires that help lock the door closed and unlock the door. So I had to kind of work around those on the bottom. The top has less of the control stuff, but it was just harder to get to. So this is just some more time lapse of me working around some of the machinery. You can see in the center section here, I used Gorilla Tape to tape between where I had done the separate panels, just to give it a little more support. And then I also use that same Gorilla Tape. It's a 2-inch thick vinyl duct tape. It's a really high quality, expensive tape. And I use that just to tape the fiberglass back in place, the fiberglass insulation. Just for reference, that's a 10-foot ladder that I'm using. It's a 12-foot ceiling. So doing the top part, I had a couple of cables I had to contend with, and this is sped up double time. But the roll is a little unwieldy, and the top piece I wanted to do in one big long section so that it would sort of stand in the the little trough that was created by the door to kind of help it stand up on its own, because it's a pretty stiff material. And I had a real hard time getting it started. Once I got it started, it kind of went down fine, but it was a real clunky process. And what you can't see is I've already peeled off the top of the double-sided tape, so it keeps getting stuck to my tape too as I'm trying to get it sort of in position. But I sort of just worked through it and kept trying to get it straightened out and sorted out, and it was not a fun hour here trying to get this up. But once I got it going, it went okay. I wasn't able to get it as tight as I wanted, and it had some gathers, but that was okay. So I finally got it sort of positioned right on the end and started working my way across. Again, there's some wires and cables and some other things that I have to work around. I went up and down that ladder, I don't even know how many times. But where I'm at now, I'm pushing it into the double-sided tape that I have down on the low side. And then on the top, I'm kind of curling it up into the U channel that's the top of the door, where I also have 2 pieces of double-sided tape. So anyway, I just continue to work my way across. So after I got past that one cable that was on the right side, I was able to sort of stretch it out a little bit, and it went a little faster for that middle section because I kind of had it sitting on top of the door on the bottom, and then I was able to push it into the tape that I had installed on the top side. So it started to go a little faster. Again, it's a pretty stiff product, so once I got it in the little U-shaped trough on the bottom and curled up into the trough on the top, it sort of sat in position. So here I'm working my way across. I'm getting it past this second wire, which was the last really big challenge, and sort of getting it tucked in and attached to the tape. Not sure if you can see it. I'm using an X-Acto knife to sort of cut around some of the parts of the door. And then I'm also using a squeegee, which is sort of a rubbery, I think people who install like tint and wraps and that sort of stuff use it. I got it with the original kit that I bought from my last garage store, and it kind of helps you rub the tape really hard to make sure it's sticking well. And then I was using it on top of the foam to make sure it was attaching to the double-sided tape really well. So as you can see here, this is the motor that opens the system. It turns a gear that rolls up on this wire system that you've seen, and then there's this locking system that bolts the door into place. It's an older door. It's a Wilson door, hangar door from the 80s, but it's still real functional, so I didn't want to spend the enormous amount of money to change it out, just make it a little prettier. As you can see here, I still have some gathers that I wasn't super happy with that I couldn't get rid of, but much, much improved from where we started. So the final product I'm pretty happy with. It looks way better than it was. I'll put links to all the products I used in the description. And as always, like and subscribe, and feel free to comment. I'll get back to you if you have any questions about this little project. Thanks, and have a nice day.